Is in the air in the Mid-Ohio Valley, and a local farm is starting a busy season selling pumpkins and hosting family-friendly activities. Our Chase Campbell visited Sweetapple Farm to learn what they have in store this year.
Hello and welcome to Sweetapple Farm.
Sweetapple Farm's fall season kicked off on September 20th. Highlights for visitors to the farm include hay rides, pumpkin picking, pumpkin painting, and a corn maze. Farm owner Mona Barrett explains the theme of this year's maze.
And this year our corn maze is this little pig, and has questions in it involving agriculture, pigs, and all that type of thing that children and adults will learn about agriculture.
Barrett says her own life has taught her the importance of agriculture, and she hopes to instill at least some of her passion in visitors to the farm.
Agriculture is very important to me. I grew up on a dairy farm, and my parents raised tomatoes and potatoes and sold those, and so many people don't know about the hard work and the background of that life.
Barrett says some more returning fall activities include building your own scarecrow and feeding goats. She says there are also some new things at the farm this year.
This year we have a big chair out in our nursery rhyme garden for pictures. We also have a nursery rhyme type wishing well, and it's quite pretty. And we have lots of flowers, and our herb garden, of course, many different herbs. And there's a note there that reminds people to touch the leaves to see what they smell like.
Barrett says her main job on the farm is selling the pumpkins, which lets her see firsthand the enthusiasm the farm can inspire in its visitors.
It's such fun to watch them pull their wagons up that they've taken to the pumpkin field, and I price them, and for the little children to tell me which pumpkin they picked out, and they'll say, and my daddy lifted that on the wagon. So that's my joy of the whole thing, the families that come here.
The farm's fall season lasts until October 25th. They're open on Saturday from 10 in the morning till 7 in the evening, and on Sundays from 11 to 6. Admission is $8. In Vincent, Chase Campbell.